So good day everyone. My topic is all about law on common carries. So the primary law that governs common carries is the Civil Code of the Philippines as clearly implied from Articles 1766, therefore, which states that in matters not regulated by this code, the rights and obligation of common carriers shall be governed by the Code of Commerce and special laws. So the law, Article 1732. Common carriers are persons, corporations, firms of association engaged in the business of carrying or transporting passengers or goods or both by land, water, or air for compensation offering their service to the public. So next, application law. All about private care or of goods based on a chapter agreement. The every blason ay sa visa which riders ramping service and such does not transport cargo or shipment for the general public. Its services are available only to specific person who enter into a special contract of chapter party with its provision in the non-usite chapter party, which stands for freight in and out, including stevedoring and trading, which means the handling, loading, and unloading of the cargoes are the responsibility of the character. And it is the capability that its owner, Blasons Shipping Inc., entered into a contract of affreightment of contract of Voltage Chapter Hire with National Steel Corporation. Is MV Blason I and common care or private care? For me, it's a common care. So next is application of law. So all about private bus service for school children. So Ingracio Pabli Jr. and his wife were owners of a 1982 Motel Mazda minibus. They used the bus principally in connection with the bus service for school children where they operated in Manila. The couple had a driver, Porfirio G. Cabel, whom they hired in 1981. His job was to take school children to and from the State Scholasticas College in Maleti, Manila. On November 2, 1984, the World Christian Fellowship arranged with the Sausage Factory for the transportation of 33 members of its young adult ministry from Manila, the La Union, and back in consideration of 3,000. So, our spouses fabric considered in a common carrier or fabric carrier. So, same ragyapon siya common carrier. Responsibility of common carriers. First, Article 1733. Common carriers from the nature of their business and reasons for public policy are bound to observe extraordinary diligence over the all over the goods and for the safety for the passengers transported by them accordingly to all circumstances of each cases. So, sa dire kasagaran nga mga tagatdala gikan sa kinaihan nga ilang negosyo usa ka mga hinungdan sa palisiya sa publiko kinahanglan nga maobserbahan sa talagsaon nga kapugi sa pagbantay sa mga butang ug alang sa kaluwasan sa mga pasahero nga gidala sa kanila sumala sa tanan nga mga kahimtang sa matag kaso. So next is Article 1755. A common carrier is bound to carry the passenger's safety such as human care and foresight can provide using the utmost diligence for every caution persons with due regards for all circumstances. So next is Article 75. So ang usa ka sagad nga tagdala kinahanglan nga magdala sa mga pasahero nga luwas kutob sa tao ang pag-atiman og panan-aw makahatag gamit ang labing kapugi sa mga mabinantayon nga tawo nga adunay angay pagtagad sa tanan nga mga kahimtang. So next, Article 1756. In case of death of injuries to passengers, common carriers are pressured to have been at fault or to the active negligence unless they prove that they deserve extraordinary diligence as prescribed in Articles 1733 and 1730. So, sa Articles 1756 ka, sa kaso sa pagkamatay o pagkasamad sa mga pasayro, ang mga sagad nga nagdala giisip na dunay sayop kung mawalay mo at kamat-tumarog gawas ko matunan nila nga sila na obserbahan nga talagsaon nga kakung isaman sa gilatid sa Article 1733 o 1755. 1757. The responsibility of a common carriage for the safety of passengers are required in Article 1733 and 1755 cannot be dispensed with or less by stipulation by the posting of notices, by statements on tickets or otherwise. So ang Article 1757 kay ang usa responsibility sa usa ka sagad nga sa pasayro ingon giingnan nga mga artikulo 1733 ug 1755 dili madepensa o maminusan pinaagi sa stipulation pinaagi ang pag-post sa mga pahibalo pinaagi sa mga pahayag sa mga ticket o kung dili. So next application form. Fortune Express is a bus company in Northern Mindanao. Diosdado Bravo, the operation manager of Fortune Express, received an investigation report from the Philippines Constabulary Regional Headquarters at Cagayan de Oro City that certain Maranaos in Kauswagan, Lanao del Norte, resulting in the death of 2 Maranaos. Bravo assured the Philippine Constabulary that certain precautions in protecting lives without taking necessary precautions such as risking the passenger or inspecting their baggage before boarding the bus. It was until November 22, 1989 when 3 armed Maranaos pretend to be passenger-sized a bus of Fortune Express at Linamon, Lanao del Norte while it's on way to Iligan City. Shots ensued which resulted to the burning of the bus, the injury of passengers, and the death of Attorney Kaoro. Express be held liable for the injury and death of its passengers due to the hijacking of 3 armed Maranaos? Yes. So next is liabilities of common carriers for the acts of employees and strangers. The law Article 1759. Common carriers are liable for the death of injuries to the passengers through the negligence of willful acts of the foremost employees, although such employees may be acted beyond the scope of their authority or in violation of the orders of uncommon carriers. This liability of the common carriers does not is upon proof that they exercise the diligence of the good father of the family in the selection and supervision of their employees. So sa mga sagad nga nagdala sa katawa, dunay tulubagon nga pagkamatay o pagdaot sa mga pasero, ang pagpabaya o pagtinawag mga buhat sa empleyado kaniadto bisan kung ang ingon ang mga empleyado mahimong naglihok lapas ni kanon sa ilang awtoridad o paglapas sa mga mando sa mga sagad nga nagdala. Kini nga kapanggakunan sa mga sagad nga nagdala dili mahunong sa pagmatuod nga gigamit nila ang kakungi sa usa ka paayong amahan sa usa ka pamilya sa pagpili o pagdumala sa ilang mga empleyado. So next is application of law. At about 10 p.m. of March 1987, the cargo truck marked Condor Hollow Blocks and general merchandise was loaded with firewood in Bugo, Cebu and left of Cebu City. Upon reaching Sitio Egues, Poblacion, Compostela, Cebu, just a truck passed over the bridge. One of its rear tires exploded. The driver, Sergio Pedranao, then parked along the right side of the National Highway and removed the damaged tire to have it vulcanized at a nearby shop about 700 meters away. Pedranao left his helper, Jose Mentante Jr., to keep watch over the stalled vehicle and instructed the latter to place spare tire 6 fat homes away beyond the stalled truck to serve as a warning for oncoming vehicles. The truck's tail light were also left on. At about 4:45 p.m. of March 15, 1987, Rider passengers bus driven by Virgilio de las Pinas was cruising at the speed of 40 to 45 kilometers per hour along the National Highway of Sitio Agis, Poblacion, Compostela, Cebu. The passenger was also bound for Cebu City. Among its passengers were dispatches Pedro A. Agrisgado and Feliz Capitito Agrisgado, who were seated at the right side of the bus. As the bus was approaching the bridge, Las Piñas saw the stalled truck, which was then about 25 meters away. He applied the brakes, tried to swerve to the left, avoid hitting the truck, but it was too late and the bus rammed into a truck, left near the impact damage to the right side of the bus and left several passengers injured. Pedro Arisgado lost consciousness and suffered a fracture in his right coast. His wife Felisa was brought to the Danao City Hospital. She was later transferred to the Southern Island Medical Center where she died shortly thereafter. Of liability of common carries. First, in case of death injury caused to passengers, the victim may file a case of breach of the contract of marriage or colpra contractual against the owner of the common carries, and two, in the case of death of injury caused to a stranger of pedestrian, damages recoverable from common carries. A. Actual damages. B. Unrealized profits. B. Moral damages. D. Exemplary damages. E. Award for death indemnity. F. Award for attorney's fees. G. In case of moral damages. The law nature of airline bus and shipping tickets. The best evidence of a contract of carriage is the passage ticket. Under our jurisprudence, an airline bus of shipping ticket is a contract of adhesion, considering that all the provisions therefore the prepared and drafted only by the care. The only participation left of the other party is to affix his signature thereto. In such situation, the Supreme Court ruled that the terms thereof must be interpreted against the party who drafted the same, in this case, the carrier. Application of law. Sweet Line INC is a shipping company transporting inter-island passengers and cargoes. A stipulation in its passenger's ticket states that it is hereby agreed and understood that any and all actions arising out of conditions and provisions of this ticket, irrespective of where it is issued, shall be filed in the competent courts in the city of Cebu. Is the stipulation valid? Yes. Regulation of the transportation business. Regulation of air transportation business. The term citizen of the Philippines means any of this is any individual who is a citizen of the Philippines. B. A partnership of which each member is such as individual. C. A corporation of association created or organized under the laws of the Philippines, of which the directing head and 2 to 3 or more of the board of directors and other managing officers are citizens of the Philippines, and each which 60% of the voting interest is owned or controlled by persons who are citizens of the Philippines. The CAB issued the CPCN if it finds A. That the applicant is fit, willing, and able to perform service to the public. B. That such service is required by public convenience and necessity. Establishment and enforce rules and regulation for the inspection and registration of all aircraft owned and operated in the Philippines and all air facilities. Establishment and prescribe the corresponding rules and regulation for the enforcement of laws governing air transportation. Impose and prescribe charges and or rate pertinent to the operation of public utility facilities and service, collection of landing fees, parking, space fees, terminal fees, INC. Administer and operate the Civil Aviation Training Center. Operate and maintain national airports or navigation and other similarities. Promulgate rules the regulation in the interest of safety in air commerce. Investigate aircraft accidents. Issue, deny, cancel, or revoke any certificate, permits, or license pertaining to aircraft, airman, and air agencies.
Everyone, so my topic is all about registration of aircraft. So, the law. Only aircraft owned by or leased to citizens of the Philippines and which are not registered under the laws of any foreign country may be eligible for registration. So, sa pag-register sa aircraft, kinahanglan ang usa ka owner dapat ko ana siya citizen sa Philippines kaya wala pud siya na-register under sa any foreign country. So, discussion of the law. So, the certificate of registration is conclusive evidence of ownership except in a proceeding where such ownership is an issue or when the aircraft is only under lease. So, regulation of the shipping industry. So, the Maritime Industry Authority or the MARINA was created on June 1, 1974 with issuance of Presidential Decree number 474 to integrate the development, promotion, and regulation of maritime industry in the country. So, ang Marina maoy nag-regulate or naghimo siya mga regulations para sa maritime industry. So, by virtue of Republic Act number 9295, Marina has the following functions. So, number 1 is to register the vessels. Number 2, issue certificates of public convenience or any extensions of any amendments. There's no certificate shall be valid for more than 25 years. So, ang Marina sad ang issue sa mga certificates for public convenience or any extensions and any amendments, then it will valid just not for more than 25 years. So, next is modify, suspend, and revoke at any time upon notice or hearing any certificates of license. Next is establish and prescribe routes, zones, or areas of operations of this domestic ship operators. So, sila pod ang mag-establish para sa mga agianan or asa dapat nga ruta dapat sila mo ship moagi or ang mga operators. Next is require any domestic ship operators to provide shipping services to any coastal area. So, 6 is safety standards for vessels in accordance with applicable conventions and regulations. Next, require all domestic ship operators to comply with operational and safety standards. Inspect all vessels to ensure and enforce compliance with safety standards and other regulations. Next is ensure that all domestic ship operators shall have financial capacity to provide and sustain safety. So, sa kaning marina dapat ilang kanang assure gyud nila nga ang usa ka ship kay kanang safe gani siya nga makuanan sa mga tao or sa mga butang nga ipang ship sa laing lugar. Next is determine the impact which any new service shall have to the locality it will serve. Next, adapt and enforce such rules and regulations which will ensure compliance by every operators. Next is hear and adjudicate any complaint made in writing involving any violence in this law, impose such fines and penalties, investigate any complaint made in writing against any domestic ship operator. Next is upon notice and hearing, impose such fines and suspend or revoke certificates. So ang marina sad ang mokuha or mo-cancel sa certificates if ever nga ma-violate ni nila. So next is issue such rules and regulations necessary to implement the provision of this act. So ang marina gid si ang maghimo sa tangang act, regulations or rules or any kuan nga para mas safe ang usa ka panitan vessels nga mo operate through the country. Authority to operate. So no franchise, certificate or any other form of authorization awarded by Marina for the carriage or cargo or passengers or boat the domestic trade shall be granted except to domestic ship owners. The term domestic ship owners or operator means a citizen of the Philippines which is authorized or duly authorized by the Marena to engage in domestic shipping. So, however, foreign vessels who may wish to engage in trade or commerce with the Philippines territorial waters may be granted a special permit by the Marina when no domestic vessels are available. So next is regulation of land transportation. So the concept of land transportation system in the Philippines started when our ancestors invented means of locomotion. So ang kuan jud nato sa una is katong kalisa gani mo gito'y pinakauna nga basta mo na. Today, so today it is the Land Transportation Office or the LTO and the Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board or the LTFRB, which are the agencies involved in the regulation of the land transportation industry. The LTO is the proper agency which controls the registration operations of motor vehicles and the licensing of the owners, dealers, operators, and conductors. So ang LTO gyud ang mag-organize sa mga registrations or operations of sa mga motor owners or dealers. Next is the functions of LTFRB. So are as follows. So first is to prescribe and regulate route of service. So next is to issue, amend, revise, suspend, or cancel certificates of public convenience, to determine, prescribe, approve, and periodically review and adjust reasonable fares, rates, and other charges. So ang LTFRB sad ang magbuot kung pila ang bayranan gani sa kanang kaitan mo biyahe ka mga bus, sila po'y magbuot na pila ang dapat bayaran sa usa ka pasahero. So next is to issue preliminary or permanent injunction, whether prohibitory or mandatory. So next is to punish for contempt of the board both direct and indirect. So to issue, suspend justice decom on someone witnesses to appear in the proceedings of the board. So next is to review the decisions and actions of the regional franchising and regulatory office. Next is to promulgate rules and regulations. Sila pud ang mahimo og rules and regulations sa mga operators. Next is to fix, impose, and collect reasonable fees and other related charges. Next is to formulate, promulgate, administer, and implement rules and regulations. Next, to coordinate and cooperate with the other government agencies. Next, to perform such other functions and duty as may be prescribed by law or provided by law. Next, so the next is standard requirements for tourist and transport vehicles. So to be registrable, every tourist transport must be found roadworthy upon inspection by the team from the Department of Tourism. For tourist buses or coasters, a public service system shall be installed. Every tourist transport operator shall provide an adequate garage and repair shop for the maintenance of its equipment. Standard requirements for tourist transport vessels. So there should be at least one restroom each with toilet and washing facilities for male and female located at the passenger accommodation area. Adequate number of well-trained, well-groomed, experienced, efficient, and courteous staff should be employed. Adequate lighting arrangement and fixtures should be installed. So the standard requirements for tourist air transport is adequate life-saving devices and adequate medication equipment should be provided. So documents required for or to support application for accreditation to operate as tourist transport operator. So first is mayor's permit. Next is business name certificate and all amendments. Next is proof of ownership and contract of lease. A list of names of all officials, employees under respective designation. Next is such other papers or documents as may be required. So next is for land transport, a copy of LTFRB certificate of franchise. Next, a copy of the transportation rates as approved by LTFRB. Next is pictures of vehicles showing the side, back, and front views. Next is such other papers and documents as may required. Next is for water transport, money and documents na kinahanglan. Next, first is a copy of the Certificate of Public Convenience Necessity, next a copy of transportation rates, pictures of vehicles showing side front and back view, and such other papers are needed. On transportation of animals. So the law, the Virtual Republic Act Republic Act 8485, also known as the Animal Welfare Act of 1998, it shall be the duty of any operator of any land, air, or water public utility transporting pets, wildlife, and all other animals to provide in all cases adequate, clean, and sanitary facilities for the safe convenience and delivery. These animals shall be provided with sufficient food and water during transit. So no utility shall transport any such animal without a written permit from the Director of Bureau of Animal Industry or his or her authorized representative. So next, the discussion of the law. So the Bureau of Quarantine has required the following documents as certified by a licensed veterinary doctor to be presented before a shipping permit will be issued. So first is certificate of rabies vaccination for not less than 30 days. Next is for agriculture animals, a certificate of clearance from the Coogan test and FMD or the Food and Mouth Disease test is required. So, on the other hand, a person planning to bring any animal into Philippines from abroad must apply in writing for any import permit at the following address. So, a valid health and rabies certificate must be obtained from the agency. Any pet without such certificate will be detained by the Bureau of the Animal Industry until cleared. For countries declared to be rabies-free, the rabies vaccination is waived. All animals imported into place shall be subject to such quarantine tests as may be prescribed by the Director of Animal Industry.
Tackle about seatbelt law. The seatbelt law is a law that aims to protect drivers and passengers of private and public motor vehicles from the harmful effects of vehicular accidents. And to achieve this, the law mandates a mandatory use of seatbelt devices by drivers and front seat passengers of private and public motor vehicle all the time. Discussion of law. Driver and front seat passengers of a public vehicle are required to wear seatbelt while inside of a vehicle of running engine in any road. It means when driving a public vehicle, the driver and front seat passengers must always wear their seatbelts while vehicles running on the road or street. The driver is also responsible for making sure that their front seat passenger wear their seatbelt as soon as they can in the vehicle. If a passenger refuses to wear their seatbelt, they will not be allowed to continue their trip. This is to ensure the safety of everyone in the vehicle in the event of an accident. The second one is infants or children ages 6 years old below shall be prohibited to sit in the front seat of any running motor vehicle. So, second point means it's not allowed for infants and children who 6 years old or younger to sit in the front seat or in any moving vehicle. This is because the front seat is more dangerous for young children in case of an accident. They can be seriously injured or even killed because of the airbag deployment or the force of the impact. Third one is it shall be unlawful of any person to import or cause the importation of any vehicle. It means that it is illegal to import or bring into the country any vehicle that does not have appropriate and functional seatbelt devices. This is to ensure that all vehicles on the road have the necessary safety features to protect their drivers and passengers in case of an accident. So the fourth, lastly, is for new vehicles, compliances required for registration. It means all new vehicles must comply with the seatbelt law to be registered with a Land Transportation Office or LTO. This means that all vehicles must be approved and functional seatbelt devices installed before they can be registered. So next is service law. This law is about public utilities, which are private businesses that provide services that are essential to the general public, such as transportation, electricity, and water. These are important because they cater the needs of the public and contribute to their comfort and convenience. Because of this, public utilities are considered to be a public interest and concerns. Requisites before a certificate of public convenience may be granted are an applicant who has obtained certificate of public convenience. First, the applicant mauli must be either a citizen in the Philippines or a corporation. This means that the entity must be legally recognized by the Philippines government. It is in place to ensure that public services are operated by Filipinos, that they are not entirely controlled by foreign entities. In summary, this part of the law is designed to ensure that only qualified applicants who are either citizens of the Philippines or Filipino-owned entities can obtain a certificate of public convenience. The second one is, this part of the law requires that applicant must have financial capability to undertake the proposed public service and meet the responsibilities that come without operating it. This means that applicant must be able to demonstrate that they have the financial resources to start and maintain the public service and fulfill their obligation to the public. It is important for the applicant to be financially capable to ensure that public service will be reliable and sustainable. The third one is the applicant must also prove that operation of the public service proposed and authorization to the business will promote the public interest in a proper and suitable manner. This means that the applicants must show that their proposed public service will benefit the public and that its operation will be in line with the standards set by the government. The public interest must be taken into account when granting a certificate of public convenience. In terms of government agencies, there are three entities that have the authority to grant a certificate of public convenience. The first one is Civil Aeronautics Board or CAB, Republic Act 776 for air transportation. The second one is Land Transportation Franchising Regulatory Board or LTFRB Executive Order 202. And lastly is the Marine Industry Authority or Marina for transportation. So these agencies are responsible for ensuring that public services are operated in a safe, reliable manner and that they meet the standards set by the government.
The topic is law of importance of vehicles. The law there are relevant law of the importation of vehicle which may be useful for the transportation business, namely President Arroyo's Executive Order 156 prohibit the importation of used motor vehicles into the country except on authorities that are declared free sports zones such as a sub-break by free sports in the sub-break province of Zambales by virtue of Republic Act number 7227-68 if the vehicle is owned by a returning residents or immigrant and covered by an authority to import issue under the no dollar importation program. If the vehicle is from the use of an official of the diplomatic corps and authorized to be imported by the Development of Foreign Affairs or DFA, and if the vehicle falls under the category of special purpose vehicles such as ambulance, fire truck, drivers, tanker trucks, and all-terrain lorries. The public law or the public service law. The law public service includes the person who may own, operate, manager, or control the Philippines of here on a compensation with a general or limited, whether permanent, occasional, or accidental, and done for general business purpose. Any common carries railroad on streets, all railway, subway, motor, vehicle, steamboat or steamship line, ferries, and motor truck, tired. Unless otherwise, extend or public service shall operate with heavy being issues on the traffic. The applicant must be financially capable of undertaking on the purpose service in meeting the responsibilities incident to its operation. So 3. The applicants must be proved that the operation of the public service purpose and that authorization to do business will promote the public interest in a proper and stable manner. The following are the government agencies which have a authority to grant certificate of public benefits. Civil Authority Board or CAB Public Act 716 from Air Transportation, Land Transportation or Financing and Regulator Board or LTFRB. Executive Order 202 for Land Transportation and the Marine Industry Authority Marine Residential Decree no number 474 for the water transport. Traffic laws. Republic Act 4136. This is stated on June 20, 1964 is a publication of the laws relative of traffic rules of regulation. Some of the highlights of the law are follows. Rules of regulation of motor vehicle. 1. No motor vehicle shall be used to or operated on or upon public highways of the Philippines unless the same is properly registered at the LTO.